Yes, indeed, man. It's the livest director, the livest producer in the game. Your boy Kareem Jamal here at bldradio.com, man, worldwide. We have a lovely guest this evening, doing some positive things for our community. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Hilerie Lind, and I appreciate you for having me here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, we're honored. It's a privilege. You know what I mean? To see our people excelling. Let the people know what you do and what are you doing, rather.
Well, right now, of course, I have a full time job. I'm a mom, mother, sister, all of that. But right now, I am on the campaign run to become mayor of Brookhaven, Georgia.
Yes, and that's a heavy spot over there. You got some real constituents that you got to go against, huh?
Yes, I do. There's four candidates in the race right
It's four,
now.
and you're the fourth one.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm the
So
first one.
you're the first one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yes, that's right. So all of our listeners, we don't co-sign nothing that we don't believe in. But please, if y'all like us, show all our listeners all over. Make sure y'all support this as she's doing positive things for a community. I mean for our community. Excuse me. So yeah. Before we get into the question, and so what is your campaign mostly about?
It's just mostly about changing the community.
Yes.
I'm originally grew up in Lorraine, Ohio, born in Cleveland,
Okay.
and so it we are. I don't come from a community like Brookhaven.
Yes.
I come from a little bit of a struggle.
Yes.
Although my parents worked hard to provide for me, I was the first person in my family to graduate from college.
Me
So
too.
I've always been on that grind to make a change and to really be an example to all of my family members, not even just the younger ones, and just
Yes.
people from home. And right now, people from home are just so proud of me just because I'm running in this race. So, I got Lorraine on my back. I got
Yes.
Cleveland and Ohio on my back,
Yes. Shout out to Cleveland. They
to do
always show
this.
us love. So are you from East Cleveland?
No, actually, I was born on the east side of Cleveland. So
Yes.
there's a
Oh, so
difference.
you understand.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It's
So
pretty rough. It's
definitely a
it's like where we're
difference.
from.
Yes, but I actually grew up in Lorraine, Ohio. So,
Okay.
I don't want to say that. A lot of people come down here and say they're from Cleveland. No, I
Yeah.
grew up in Lorraine. I was just born in
No
Cleveland.
doubt, no doubt. So shout out to Lorraine too. I've been talking with your assistant. She's been pretty informative. So how many weeks do you have before the actual election?
Um, there is about 7 weeks left.
7 weeks. So all of us have to get out and support, man. Hillary
Yes.
Lynn for Brookhaven. Um, Listen, support this sister. She's doing big things. I know it's taboo and not polite to ask, but I'm so curious. How old are you?
I'm 39. I'm proud of that.
You all right?
I'm 39 years old.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and can I say, supporting me, you don't have to live here in Georgia or Brookhaven to support me.
Okay.
Supporting me comes in so many different ways. Sharing my information on social
Yes. So
media.
make sure y'all share this link. After
Mhm.
y'all watch the show, make sure you like and subscribe and share this link.
Yes,
Definitely.
and then going to my website, donating to the campaign. Donating will really help me to continue this,
Yes.
the canvassing, getting out, putting
Yes.
together community events. That's really what's going to help. So you don't have to be here to support me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So if our people, our people, and if you are people, make sure you support the sister. If our people want to support, what do they? What is the actual social site, and where should they go?
Well, you can visit my website. That's hilarielind.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's HILERIE.
Mm-hmm.
LIND.com.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
Instagram is Hilerie Lind _ for Brookhaven. Facebook is Hilerie Lind. And my YouTube is Hilerie Lind for Brookhaven.
Yes, ma'am. So for all our slow listeners, do you mind saying it one more time?
Yes. Instagram is Hilerie Lind _ for Brookhaven.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is Hilerie Lind for Brookhaven. My website is hilarielind.com.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm gonna get into these questions because your assistant definitely let us know that
And
you got
and
other
she's
things
she's
going on.
probably watching. I want to make it clear she's not my assistant, so
Okay.
she is my campaign
Oh
manager.
yeah, I'm
So
so sorry.
yes,
I
yes.
me and her been she's listen. Shout out to your campaign manager. She's been very informative. She's making sure everything's right, and she also said you have prior engagements after you leave here. You're very busy, so I don't want to hold you up.
And I appreciate you having me here and
No,
just taking that
no
time
doubt.
anyway.
We listen, BLD. We will love. We're a holding company. We have the radio. We also do film. We have films. So we would love to help. We do printing. So whatever you need, we can talk off the camera, but
Mhm.
we can work it out definitely. And we don't get behind nothing we don't believe in. And this is so positive. Our
Mhm.
sister that look like our sister, auntie, cousin, and you're running. Yes, please vote. We need more of
We
us
need that.
in
And
the
I'm the
system.
only black candidate in the race. So it's important
Wow.
that people see me and
Yes.
support me in any way that they can.
Yes. So before we get to the question, if it's something that you really want to get out there to our listeners, what do you want to tell them?
Share my information on social media.
Yes.
Watch the videos that I'm posting. Actually, really pay attention. Sign up for the links for the forum so that you are notified when I'm in a forum online. I just had an interview the other day, so just pay attention to my social media. I post
And
everything
donate,
and
donate,
donate.
donate, donate. One more time where they can go donate.
Donate. You can go to my website. It's hilarielind.com. It's HILERIELIND.com. Instagram is Hilerie Lind _ for Brookhaven. Facebook is Hilerie Lind, and YouTube is Hilerie Lind for Brookhaven.
Yes, ma'am. So relating to social justice, race, and equality, how do you feel the city is doing in efforts to address issues? And what would be the top priority for improvement for you if you was elected?
I do want to say the city of Brookhaven, with COVID-19 happening and unfortunately George Floyd being killed a few years ago, the city of Brookhaven created a diversity commission,
Hmm.
that board. And so that board is supposed to be a representation of the community, and it's designed to bring different initiatives in place. Now, I will say I applaud Brookhaven for creating that board,
Yes.
but there is really no plan of action. I feel like it's just a bunch of fluff. They have a bunch of people on the board, a bunch of people of color, men and women. Unfortunately, there's no teachers on that board,
Hmm.
and we know we need teachers. Teachers can teach on theories and different things, and the people on that board don't necessarily have the background in social justice or diversity. So that's number one. Not even just having a diverse board, but bringing people that have the background to be able to bring different initiatives into place. My top priorities is really just to overhaul the system. If you are a black person in America, you know that racism is embedded in the fabric of this country. And so, order to overhaul that, we have to break everything down. And so, I really want to be able to implement different initiatives that overtakes that. I worked for CDC a few years ago. I
Yes.
was on the COVID-19 vaccine task force. And I know people don't like when I say that. When I say COVID-19, I did not shut down the government. I did not create the vaccine, and I did not create COVID, to be clear. However, I held different roles on that task force.
Mhm.
And one of the important roles that I held, I was a regional liaison officer, and I covered six different jurisdictions. And I worked with state and federal partners, and I guided them through that process to make sure that many communities of color had the different vaccines and everything that we needed to overcome COVID.
Yes.
I know people may think it's a hoax, but a lot of people of color died. A lot of black people died
Yes.
during COVID, and
My
so
granddad was one of them.
and I'm sorry for loss. My grandmother passed away in April of
Hmm.
2020, and so I understand that feeling. And but I was right there, leading the way, and I reported all the different risks and mitigations directly to the White House. So
Yes.
I don't want people to take my experience on that task force lightly. You know, I did the work and I
Mhm.
led. Most people, when they deploy, because I deployed, I volunteered to deploy. Most people, when they deployed, during that initiative, it's usually 30 days, maybe 60 days at the most. I deployed for 5 months. I was
Wow.
gone and I did the work. I was on call 24/7. So I want people to know how important to me my community is. Very important to me. I want people to understand that.
Yes.
And so, with racism being embedded in the fabric of this country and racism being a public health crisis, I think it's important to be able to partner with state and federal agencies here in Georgia,
Mhm.
and the county, to be able to create different initiatives to overcome racism. Not just simply creating a commission that's full of different people of color and saying, here, we just did it. We actually need to create plans and different initiatives to
Yes, ma'am.
overcome that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, listen, I promise you, I was always taught to never discuss religion or politics, but you say it so eloquently. This is like a sidebar. We had two questions, me and my partner. His question was affordable housing. Are you going to fight for that?
Of course. You know, Everything is expensive. It
Yes.
wasn't just the eggs, it wasn't just gas, and really think it's funny that the governor is doing a tax break on gas because that really doesn't help.
Hmm.
But everything's expensive. Rent is going up. They're raising they're raising rents almost 500% for most people, and especially here in Georgia.
Yeah, and all the counties, it seems like, especially the closer you are to the city, it seems like it's like phenomenal the rates that is going up.
Right.
And sorry to take us off topic,
That's okay.
but don't they supposed to do it like a certain amount of money per square foot, or they
Well,
can charge whatever?
unfortunately, in the state of Georgia, local leadership can't say that they want to create a moratorium on rent increases. So companies can come in, owners can come in and raise the rent as high as they want to.
And
There's
nobody.
That's not in place. And even if I became mayor, and I want to make that clear, if I can't became mayor, I can't say you can't raise the rent anymore. It's
Yes.
really about partnering with state leadership to change those laws
Yes.
so that we can create a moratorium on rent increases. But in an interim, one thing I will say that Brookhaven could have done, especially since COVID has happened, although we can't stop people from raising rent, what we can do is actually create resources and programs to
Yes.
help people avoid being
Yes.
evicted.
Yes.
And
Yes.
those
Yes.
resources don't exist in Brookhaven.
Yes.
If you go to their website, there's different links. One is for the COVID-19 program that was created in Georgia, which
Mhm.
no longer exists. And then there's the DeKalb, I think it's the DeKalb and Tenant Coalition that was created through COVID-19. That program doesn't exist
Yes.
anymore either.
So all our Latina listeners and all our people of color, we need someone like this to help. Not just that. Even our other our others, as we say, you need the help too. I guess the only color that matters is actually green. So my question was, that was his question. My question was, a lot of politicians that we vote for in the past, we always feel in love, but after they get in the position, how steadfast are you going to stay on your belief?
Well, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not a politician. I'm
Yes.
really someone from the community. I am
Yes,
like
ma'am.
everybody else in the community. I have all the same experiences, and I'm not going to put myself on a pedestal or higher than anyone else. I look at myself as a servant leader.
Mhm.
So, getting into office is not necessarily me changing how I am. It's actually partnering with the community and allowing them to help me lead. Taking time to sit down to see what their issues are and see what they expect of me as the mayor of Brookhaven. When you are a public servant, you work for the public, you do the work for them. And so that would be my goal. I wouldn't get into office
Yes.
for my career or political gain. It's just do the work for the community.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, I appreciate that. You got a big smile on my face because those were our concerns. But we're gonna get back on track. So, what changes, if any, should the city of Brookhaven consider in recruitment, hiring, and retention, and hiring? Excuse me.
Um, this is something they don't like me to answer.
Yes, this is a
But
sticky topic.
this is a sticky topic. So I do, having have worked at the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor has a mission to foster, promote, and develop the welfare of wage earners in this country. And so having that experience, I think, is important to be transparent with the different policies. And when policies are in place, they have to be easily accessible to the public as well. And so, creating a vetting process and an appointment process of city employees that's transparent to the public is important, and addressing those and improving those are important. I know everybody has seen it. I know I've talked about it quite a few times, and I don't even know if I should continue to talk about it. But everybody has seen, in Brookhaven with the director of Parks and Recreation being arrested a few weeks ago.
Oh man.
Um, in Cobb County in a city vehicle, dealing with a 14-year-old. And although he has not been convicted, those allegations exist. He is sitting in jail. And I think it's important that,
Allegedly.
I mean, the police arrested him. He has not been convicted, and I'm not saying he's convicted of any crime, but he was arrested for this crime. And what I will say, he's only been in place for a few months. And so, what real checks and balances are in place in the city of Brookhaven to avoid this type of thing? How much of a background did they do, especially him coming from another state not too long ago in a similar position and was only in that area for a few months? So, what's really going on, and what type of background are they really doing to vet employees that they're bringing on board, because the mayor does appoint people. And another
Yes.
thing that I want to make clear is the city of Brookhaven was sued, as well as the current mayor and the city manager. And so that goes back to checks and balances. What are we really doing? Are we just bringing people on for because they're our friends and for our own gain? If we were to leave office, that they're going to have our back and have our different initiatives and the things that we desire on the table still when we leave office. I think it's
Yes.
important to check those things out, and having a review board, what the city council is supposed to do, but the checks and balances need to be in place to
Yes.
properly vet and not just allow even myself when I become mayor to just appoint someone and that's that, and the city council goes on to confirm, and then
Mhm.
ultimately we find out that they're
I
criminals.
love that you said when I become mayor. Listen, you hear the sister. We definitely need more individuals like her in office. So, like she said, there's a lot of things you can do to help out the campaign. One is
Donating,
donate, definitely, and
definitely
two would
donating.
be share this video. Tell your cousins, your aunties, your friends, everyone. Share this link out. When y'all get this link tonight from bldradio.com, make sure y'all share it out because we are proud to definitely represent this sister in the next election. So the next question we wanted to ask, Brookhaven recently orchestrated a large annexation event. What is your view, excuse me, of this effort and what overall strategy and process would be best for the future?
Well, first, I don't think there was no real clarity and transparency on the annexation in the first place. No one can really say where it came from. So I think it's important, for future annexations, there's transparency with the public. I myself didn't actually find out about it until I saw it on the news, just like
Mhm.
many other people when it was an uproar. I think it's important to have that conversation with the community first to see if it's actually something that the community desires. Um, After that, being able to put something like that on the ballot so the citizens of the city and any other city can make that decision along with leadership, and not leadership just doing it. Um, am I against annexation? I am not. However, I think it's important to take care of the community first, given with so many people struggling with bills, rent, and everything else, and people being displaced in the community.
Mhm.
I think it's important to take care of home first. And I know that people look at annexation as when we bring more people into the city, we'll be able to make more money taxing. That's true. However, when you annex a certain part and bring it into the city is responsible for assessments and have to
Yes.
pay for different things that can take up to a year, maybe longer. And so, in the interim, the city is spending money that can be spent on the residents that can't afford to stay here anymore.
Yes.
So, although I don't have a problem with that, I think we need to take care of home first before we're helping people outside of our house.
I believe in that also. Definitely, definitely. Well, my follow-up question is erroneous data was used to determine the composition of the area that was involved in the proposed annexation and the impact on the credibility of the petition process. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's just the same thing, as I stated. I think it was them not being truthful with the public. As far as I know, I don't know where it came from. So even if erroneous data was used, of course it was used because it was fraudulent practices from the beginning. And given the fact that the city manager and mayor were already sued for doing things, how can we trust that process? I think that needs to be a transparent process from the beginning to end.
Yes. Well, we can open up the phone lines too. Y'all could call up. If you need to call up, y'all know the number 470 873 1833. Please hit us up, bldradio.com. So as the mayor, what would you do um in in with the annexation? Excuse me. That's just a tough word for me to say. It's tongue twister. What will be your plan?
I would allow city council and the mayor to be a liaison between the citizens of Brookhaven and
Hmm.
the residents of the proposed area. However, as I stated earlier, that process wouldn't happen immediately. It's really just working with the public and taking care of the citizens of Brookhaven first before that's even a conversation.
Yes. And this next one is a biggie because every time well, Brookhaven is pretty cool, but like when I go to other places like DeKalb and Fulton County, and you ever get a ticket, you only see the blacks and browns in the courtroom. So, what changes are needed to make at Brookhaven Police to best be able to serve and protect all citizens from many diverse backgrounds, what would you do?
I will say, in the time that I've lived in Brookhaven, I will applaud the police department in their efforts to diversify their force.
Okay,
Um,
listen, we have a caller. I didn't hear the phone ringing. That's crazy. Here, P. I'm sorry to cut you off. Say that again.
I will say in the time that I've lived here in Brookhaven, the the police force has been diversified.
Hmm.
I definitely see a whole lot more black and brown people when I go into the building.
Yes.
For my son's birthday a year ago, he wanted to go to the police department, and I seen a bunch of women, a bunch
Hmm.
of black women in there, and so I definitely applaud that.
Yes.
But I think in terms of continuing that, I think really is the first step is taking a look at the expenditures for the $13 million budget that the police department got. And no, I'm not saying take away that, but really look at, how it's being spent and ensuring that we're continuing the community policing program and expanding that and creating a mentorship program with some of the department officers
Hmm.
and people within the community. I think it's important in order to overcome the struggles that a lot of black and brown people or people in general have with the police department is making sure that there's a relationship there,
Yes.
making sure that there's trust there. And so in order to do that, community policing is the best way to do that. And I'll use an example. A lot of times we see mentally disabled people or black people being killed by the police, but I
Yes.
feel like if there was an actual relationship and if Joe lived in the community and the community knew who Joe was, and when there was issues, they already know he's coming over and there's no fear on
Either
anyone's
side.
end,
Yes.
he's
Yes.
a part of the community,
True.
and so that crime is more likely not to
Yes,
happen.
ma'am.
And
Yes,
if
ma'am.
it did happen, they're more likely to listen to him because there's already a
A
relationship and trust
rapport,
there.
and that's
Yeah.
where we lost since back in the days to now. Police wasn't looked at as like an opposition; they were more looked at as community leaders. Like we played
Mhm.
football, we boxed for PAL. You
Right.
know, it was ways to get out of the community. A lot of those programs have left, and
Right.
most of our people too. I noticed because we all one people. This is the mayor for everybody. This is gonna be the mayor
Right.
for everybody. But most of our people don't get treated; they just get institutionalized. You know
Right.
what I
And I
mean?
think it's important for us to stop shaming people when they work for the government and work for the police. I know I've gotten that shame the same way. I work for
Uh
the government and I'm always called, oh, you the feds. I can't say anything around you. And I think it's important that we stop shaming our people for getting the education and to grow so that we can help each other. That's number
Yes.
one. And when we're not shamed for becoming a government employee, then we're more likely to join the police force. When we join the police force, we're more likely to trust one another. So
Hmm.
I think we have to stop shaming people for becoming the police. You're not a rat because you work for the federal government.
No
You're not
doubt.
a rat because you are a police officer. I think more of us need to do that. And in order to actually make a change, we got to be there. We have to be
Yes.
a part of the
Yes.
change.
Yes. My child's mother is a Fulton County police. So you tell your friends too to
Mhm.
make sure they tell their friends so we can get this lovely sister in office. We appreciate you coming by. Anything we can do to support your movement, we will definitely do. What do you want to tell our people before we like sign off? Because we're like the hottest urban hip hop. We give all of oh yeah, we got a caller. We're gonna I guess we're gonna take this call. My producer is saying take this call. Caller, are you there? Why she not on Bluetooth?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Can you
Fine.
say
How are
can
you guys doing?
we're fine. Can you say hi to Miss Hillary for me?
Sure. Hi, Hilerie. It's nice to get
Good
to know you better.
good evening.
Do you have any questions for her? Were you listening to the show?
Yes, I've been listening to the show and I've been following Hilerie. Um, and I do notice that she has been saying that she has a lot of experience,
Hmm.
a lot of government experience. Working in different jurisdictions and whatnot. I wanted to know, like, how would that possibly benefit the city of Brookhaven, like her experience? Like, how does that correlate? Um, what is she bringing to the table as far as like with her experience? Like, how would that actually help us within the city of Brookhaven?
Good question.
I think in order to lead, you have to have experience in leadership. And so I have plenty of that. When I think the first time I really got on this level of government is in 2008. I worked with a former minority leader, Joyce Beatty, who's also currently a U.S. representative. I worked with her during the 2008 election, and she was the minority leader. So if no one understands what that is, she was the leadership on the Democratic side at the time. And so I worked under her, and because she was the leader, she led the entire Democratic side of that. And so working with her during the during the 2008 election really helped me. It inspired me and empowered me and showed me just what a leader does. And then again, as I was on the COVID-19 vaccine task force, I led 6 different jurisdictions and got to work with White House deputies and deputies on the task force. And so I have that experience in leadership. I have over 15 years in the business industry, and as an accountant, I own my own business, and I own my own business for over 15 years. And I have several different companies, and I help other people build companies. So I have the leadership experience. I've been there. I've done it. I've had the education to back that experience up as well. So I think, especially compared to my opponents, I have the experience that shows that I've been a leader. I have the experience that shows that, I've worked within the political realm for quite some time.
Yes. Well, people, listen. This is a lovely sister. She's very articulate. And shout out to all her people in Cleveland. Make sure y'all and all your people in Lorraine, make sure y'all support. And if you're definitely committed to the BLD radio movement, please support the sister. You can donate. Where can they go donate one more time?
You can go to HilarieLynn.com. You can go to my Instagram is HilarieLynn underscore for Brookhaven. Facebook is Hilerie Lynn. And YouTube is Hilerie Lynn for Brookhaven.
Yes, ma'am. And we would love to interview you again before the
Oh,
campaign
I
is
would love
over.
to come back.
Yeah, please,
I
please.
appreciate it. You're not too far from me, so I could definitely come back.
Yes,
I
and
appreciate
and
that.
what you can do once a week, you can have if I know you're busy running around campaigning. If you're not too busy, you can have a representative call up over the phone, and we could do also
I
conduct
could
it.
definitely do that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate this. And definitely want to shout out my cousin Sylvia. She got me in contact with you, so I definitely appreciate that as well. And
Uh,
my bodyguard over there,
yeah.
Mr. Free,
Listen,
keeps me safe.
Miss Sylvia, go back with us. She when we and during our we hip hoppers, so during our rap days, she used to let us come down to her station, People's TV. When we shot our movie, one of our movies, she gave us the whole studio to do what we need to do. So anything we could do to help Miss Sylvia, we with it. Miss Sylvia is one of our team. She's our OG.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But anything you want to tell people before we sign off? Because I know you
Um,
got prior engagements.
yes, support in any way that you can. Donate to the campaign. If you see me sharing things on social media, please just share it. Tell someone else about me. The biggest thing that's going to help me to win the race is to gain traction.
Yes.
I also have a show that's coming out. My trailer is out now. The show premieres on Tuesday, and it'll be coming out every Tuesday. And it just, shows you my experience in
Yes.
becoming a mayor. And then on election night, when I win, you'll see that process that I've gone through as well.
So on election night, when she wins, she only gonna win because her people and all of our listeners at BLD Radio supported this sister. So make sure you support. Can you give them your social site one more time? Because some of
Yes.
our peoples are a little bit slower than others. So we want to make sure we drill it into their head.
Yes, on my website, I spell it as HilerieLind at .com. I'm sorry. And then my Instagram is Hilerie Lynn underscore for Brookhaven, Facebook Hilerie Lynn, and YouTube Hilerie Lynn for Brookhaven.
That's what's up. And we are looking at the next mayor of Brookhaven, Georgia. So make sure y'all support. Definitely. Definitely. It's a pleasure. I swear, man. We lucky and we're blessed to have you said you're not a politician, but a mayor like this to come by BLD
Yes, I'm
Radio.
just one of the people. I'm not a politician.
That's right. That's right. And I think if you keep that mindset and really believe it and enforce it, you'll last long. Because most I look at um until I met you, but most politicians we look at here because we do film, we look at them like actors. Like,
Yeah.
okay, they did good at this role, but now it's on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You
And,
know
and
that?
I'm not in here for gain. I mean, I have a job.
Yes.
I have a full-time job. So I'm not here for that. I actually felt like not running, I will be doing the city of Brookhaven and just service.
Yes. And all our urban listeners that know how we rock, all our 6.8 million listeners that we obtain over the 13. Listen, if she's here, you know how we rock it. You know she's one of the people. So make sure y'all support her. I promise you. You know what I mean? We definitely support you, sister. We commend you. We celebrate you. Definitely.
I appreciate it.
All right. So come back. Like I said, once a week. It's 7 weeks, so we should see at least 7 more times, or at least talk to a
Definitely.
representative so we can get it out. And what I would love for you to do before you leave, maybe do a couple of drops on the radio
Yeah,
so I
definitely do
can
that.
keep it in circulation and do one for our social sites.
Okay, I can definitely do that.
Yes, ma'am. So give them your number one more time, give them a website, and make sure y'all support. You like Kareem Jamal, you like OGP, you like the BLD boys, and you support BLD Radio. Please support the sister because she only can win if you support. Oh, yeah, the date of the election.
Election night is November 7th.
Okay, and the people from that area, where do they? Is there certain places they go to
No,
vote?
it just depends on where they live.
Okay,
So definitely go to the Secretary of State website to make sure that you are registered. As we know, people are being pulled from the rolls as we speak. So
yeah,
definitely leading up to election, continue to make sure you are registered to vote. Check your voting location as well. You still have I'll say at least until the end of the month to get registered for vote. If you're not, and get registered. I don't care if you don't vote for me, but make sure that you get out there and vote.
yes. And is there anything like early voting they can do, or maybe
Yes.
online voting, or anything
Early
like that?
voting starts October 19th. So you definitely want to get registered right now if you're not.
Okay, so you heard that, people. Support her, support her, support her, and donate. To donate one more time before we
To
leave.
donate, you can go to my website, hilarielynn.com. Sorry, and then to take you straight there, you can find me on Instagram, and all of the links are there as well. And that is Hilerie Lynn _ for Brookhaven.
Yes, ma'am. And it's not her, it's us. We're asking you to donate because she cannot win unless our people and your people, your aunties, cousins, help her out. Um, Donate can be sharing this video to all your whole family,
Absolutely.
and tell them to definitely. So you're gonna see more of this sister. And like she said, she's not running, she's gonna be next man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for
Thank you for
coming by.
having
We
me.
appreciate you, man. Yes, Lord.